We need to create something that ultimately is a settlement medium that we can use to close deals every month to settle out our balances, going out back to what Luke said, the settled differences in gold. And that settlement medium has to be something that the West can't take from us. It doesn't rust, doesn't go bad. And that's going to be gold. And then it'll be silver. And that's what they're going to do. They don't want one currency. They don't want to sacrifice their own currency anymore and be at potentially victims of another country. They don't want a dollar standard. They would prefer a gold standard before a dollar standard.
Over the past year, speculation has intensified regarding the Brics countries' intentions concerning a new global currency system. VinceLanci, a financial expert, has emphasized that the Brics nations are unlikely to adopt a singular currency for everyday transactions, similar to the euro in the Eurozone. In the ongoing currency competition, a recent report from Scotiabank predicts that the US dollar will experience the most significant decline in 2024, with this trend expected to continue. This predicted decline has given the Brics and other local currencies more momentum to potentially replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. In April 2023, Brazilian President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva voiced support for a Brics currency, questioning the rationale behind the US dollar being the prevailing trade currency after abandoning the gold standard. He asked, "Why can't an institution like the Brics Bank have a currency to finance trade relations between Brazil and China, between Brazil and all the other Brics countries?" VinceLanci, a notable financial analyst, suggests that Brics countries might prefer to return to the gold standard instead of embracing a single currency or adopting a shared current account unit for their financial transactions. Thorsten Polleit, the chief economist at Degussa, echoes this sentiment and argues that a transaction unit supported by gold appears to be a solid form of currency, which could represent a significant challenge to the supremacy of the US dollar. Lanci further proposes that this could be accomplished by relying on gold or silver, thus reducing their dependence on fiat currencies. Join us as we delve into insights shared by VinceLanci. To stay updated with our latest uploads, subscribe to our channel and activate notifications. Thank you.
Putin effectively told everyone why a Brics common currency has no prospects. Common currency, first of all, can mean a single currency. So there will be no single currency, at least not yet. It could also mean a common currency that everyone uses in the countries. The people themselves, they go to the store, they buy a Starbucks with a Brics monetary unit. He's saying that's not happening. Now, I'm not sure how he's defining common, but I'm telling you that there won't be a Brics currency that you're walking around to Starbucks, okay? The second thing is the Brics common currency won't happen because, and this is historically true, they don't want one currency. They don't want to sacrifice their own currency anymore and be at potentially victims of another country. They don't want a dollar standard. They would prefer a gold standard before a dollar standard. And that's the whole point of multipolarity. The second part of his statement, rapidly increasing trade volumes in local FX, that part right there means we're trading in our own money, rubles for yuan, what have you, being recycled into Brics-produced goods. He's saying that Brics countries are now making their own things, making their own widgets, making their own manufactured products, not just China, I guess is what he's trying to say. And then in parentheses, it says, with any remaining net surpluses being stored in gold by Brics central banks. That's the key. There will be no common currency the way I described it, but there will be a current account unit. A unit of current accounting was the phrase you used last week when we talked about this. And that current account unit will be used to settle differences. Simply put, the world is no longer, this part of the world is no longer going to have debt with each other. At the end of every month, they're going to close their American Express card out, carry no balances, pay no interest. They're not going to be using treasuries for that. They're going to be basically saying, I spent this amount of rubles with you, you spent this amount of yuan with me. The difference is X. They agree on the difference, and we settle it with ultimately, not upfront, but ultimately we settle it with gold and silver. There are two things you could take away from that. The first thing at the first level is, hey, we're already multipolar. We're already using each other's currencies. Why stop? By the way, that's a reason to not have a single currency like a euro. There will be no Brics euro, that's traded commonly. The second thing you could take away from that is, aside from the dig at Western currencies, they're no worse. They're all convertible in current transactions. Now, they are all convertible. You can swap rubles for yuan and there's an agreed rate, but those markets aren't deep enough. The FX market has to be deep. You can't just go in there and say, I'm going to convert 1 billion, 1 trillion rubles into yuan. It's not going to happen. You'll get destroyed because there's not enough financial depth. That's what the Western is a master at. So in a good way, if you don't have the financial depth of liquidity that you need to have these type of huge scale trades, you need to have something anchoring those currencies. Rubles for yuan. I need to do a bazillion ruble trade for yuan. Well, that's a lot. I don't know that we have the liquidity to handle that. And so we're going to protect ourselves by, number one, backing it with something that's stable, like gold and silver. Now, I'm not just throwing silver in there because this is Silver Channel. Silver's on the agenda. Number two, we're going to put training wheels on our own currencies and let them come out with training wheels to be protected and not be attacked. So we think that our economies are upstanding and ready to go, and we think our currencies need a place at the table. And this is the other thing, we're no longer going to kowtow. Sorry to use that word if you're thinking about this in Chinese terms. We're no longer going to give up our rights to sovereignty by using one nation's currency, and that's what they're saying there.
VinceLanci contends that gold is a viable medium for settlement, as it is less prone to confiscation or sanctions by Western powers when compared to other assets or commodities that countries may possess. Zimbabwe has expressed interest in joining the Brics alliance, and a decision on its admission is expected soon. Since 2022, the country's central bank has amassed nearly a ton of gold in its reserves, mirroring the actions of the Brics alliance. Brics member countries, particularly China, Russia, and India, have been significant buyers of gold, as per a Bloomberg report. Zimbabwe's intention to back its local currency, the Zimbabwean dollar, with gold, indicates this trend. Most of Zimbabwe's population uses the US dollar for daily transactions. Additionally, VinceLanci mentions silver as a potential component of this settlement medium. They argue that silver's industrial applications render it more volatile but valuable. Let's get back to the interview.
At this point, in that last article, they had to realize, well, if we can't agree on what a commodity's worth, and we don't all have the same commodities, what's the one thing that we all have? And what's the one thing that we all have that we agree on its price? And what's the one thing that we all have that we agree on its price that's not worth using anywhere else because it's too expensive? And that's gold. We all have gold. We all value gold the same way. We don't care about the Western exchanges dropping the price of gold. They had an answer to that as well, which is another conversation. Gold is also a commodity. Well, let's use gold. And so now you come back to this article, and he says, gold, this is their solution. We can't use oil. We can't use, what do we say? China buys oil from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia buys wheat from China every month. And at the end of the month, they have to square up. What's the difference? Well, let's settle it in oil. Let's settle it in wheat. Let's put that in a basket. You can't do that. You have to pick something else, something that's A, not confiscatable by the West, B, not sanctionable by the West, same thing, but same idea, right? C, they all own, they all value, and D, cannot be destroyed or consumed. And that's gold. Now, he says along with silver there, and I paid close attention to that. And it was actually the basis of a post that I did after that. And the answer was, following the logic that I was going down and the evolution of their own thought process, all right, we'll use our own currencies, we'll use some commodities. Oh, we can't use those commodities. They're no good. Let's use gold. Well, not everyone has gold. This is about the time you and I started talking about India buying all the silver. Now, India has a lot of gold, don't get me wrong. Silver works. You're a Latin American country with a lot of silver. You're like, hey, I want in. What's my silver worth? Well, your silver's worth what it is compared to gold. And the ratio of silver to gold will converge on that. Anyway, first comes gold, then comes silver in these baskets. And silver has industrial applications. That makes it more volatile and more difficult to use. However, You can't destroy silver. It doesn't go anywhere. It's limited and it can't be fabricated. So that's why silver is going to be involved in it. So what they figured out is we need to create something that ultimately is a settlement medium that we can use to close deals every month to settle out our balances, going out back to what Luke said, settle differences in gold. And that settlement medium has to be something that the West can't take from us. It doesn't rust, doesn't go bad. And that's going to be gold. And then it'll be silver. And that's what they're going to do.
Warren Buffett previously predicted that the US dollar would remain supreme as the top global currency until at least 2065. Since that prediction, it has remained one of the most widely used currencies globally. This is despite losing strength in the past year. Furthermore, Buffett has yet to change his mind, still hanging his hat on the US dollar for years to come. Do you believe the US dollar will continue dominating global currency markets? Or are we witnessing a genuine shift towards gold-backed or other alternative currencies? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If the video resonates with you, join our community by subscribing to our channel and enabling notifications with the bell icon. Thank you for being a part of our community.